the HFX platform. I do apologize if you guys hear any noise in the background. My wife's flight was delayed about 2.5 hours. So I said, hey, babe, pull over really quick, grab something to eat. I got to do a webinar. So the beautiful thing about being able to work where you want, when you want, and how you want, right? So as all of you know, we have multiple platforms where we can make money here in I Am Mastery Academy. Obviously, we have the traditional Forex side where we're killing it with the Librata, the DeLorean, and all the other strategies that we have. I particularly focus on high frequency Forex, which is also known as binary options. Now, just so I can know where to start and what to go over, how many of you have heard minimal to nothing about binary high frequency Forex? If that's you, please just give me a 1 in the chat. Because there is a lot of similarities. There is a lot of the same concepts of what it is that we do with Forex and high frequency Forex, okay? Now, one of the biggest things that I recommend, and I stay true to what it is that we do here in I Am Mastery Academy, is when you subscribe to HFX, it's 92 short videos that range anywhere from 1 to maybe 10 minutes long. They're not over extenuous, but I highly do recommend that you go through that education first. The reason being is the fundamentals are the same, but there are a few drastically different components of HFX and traditional Forex. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and allow you guys to see what it is that I have here on my screen. But I'm gonna go over here and you fill that up there. Let me minimize this. And I'm logging into my race options here and gonna go over the differences of what it is that we do, okay? So this is one of my accounts that I trade. And I wanna just give you a quick rundown of what it is that we do and what separates the two platforms. Now, 4 simple steps is all it is that we have to do when it comes to binary options. We have 31 educational and trading sessions on the HFX side. When you plug in, you can go to the Go Live, click on the HFX window. Sorry, let me show you guys what it is. Let me just stuff from bottom. Go Live. I am. All right. So here goes the educational sessions, right? These are the sessions that we have that you can follow the educators, okay? So we have a total of 31 different sessions that we have a week. Now, for starters, for anyone who's new, I highly recommend a great starting point is getting started with Matthew Thayer Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 8 p.m. 3 days a week. Don't overwhelm yourself with having to feel like you have to catch all of these sessions. The beautiful thing of compound interest, when you really see compound interest work its magic, you most definitely are be able to understand why 3 sessions is more than enough. But these are hour-long sessions, Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 8 p.m. We jump on with Matthew Thayer and we trade with him, okay? So that's the schedule. These are all of our educators. Nez is another great trader. Evan, I'm just telling you, we have a lot of great traders, but I highly recommend, at least for your first 90 days to your first 6 months, just trade with Matty Pips. He does an exceptional job, and you don't have to worry about jumping on really with anybody else, okay? So the way that binary options works, high frequency Forex works, you have our currency pairs here on the left-hand side. These are the currency pairs that you can trade, okay? Now, Matty Pips focuses on 3 main currency pairs. He focuses on the USD JPY, the USD CAD, and the Euro USD. Those are the 3 pairs that made him a millionaire, okay? And within a year's time, focusing on those 3 pairs, mastering those 3 pairs, and being able to make a killing off of those 3 pairs. So if you notice next to the currency pairs, you have a percentage. Every currency pair pays out a specific payout per trade and per pair. So you see here, the USD JPY is paying out 70%. The USD CAD is paying out 72%. And the USD and the Euro USD is paying out 70%. Now, what do we mean about paying out 70%? Well, that's your ROI, your return on investment on that trade. So for example, if you follow me over here to the right side of the screen, here under amounts, if I were to place a $100 trade and I were to be profitable, I would make 100 plus $70. I would make $170 in 1 minute's time, okay? If I place a $10 trade, I will be making $17 in 1 minute's time, okay? So the way the binary option works is you're gonna be looking at an entry price with an expiry time, okay, on when the trade is going to expire. So for example, we're gonna go here, I'll place a simple trade. You'd be looking at the Euro USD would be the pair. You would come over here to time and change the time to 3 minutes under Matthew Thayer's strategy. All of his trades are 3 minutes long, unless otherwise told to do so, right? But you can almost guarantee that 99.9% of his trades will be 3 minute long trades. For an example, I'm not going to wait 3 minutes. I'll place a 1 minute trade so that you can see. The third step is the order amount, okay? So if I place a $1 trade, I would make 70 cents. A $10 trade, $7. Again, a $100 trade, $70. A $1,000 trade, $700 in a minute's time. So I'm gonna go ahead and just place a $10 trade here. No analysis here, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just looking at the market, and I'm gonna say that we're gonna go ahead, and if I get another little dip like that, I'm gonna go in for a call. Boom, just place a quick little trade. So you see, I entered the market here, right? I entered the market, as we see here, at 465. Okay, the market is currently at my entry. As long as this trade closes 1 point in my favor, 1 point above my entry, so if this trade closes at 466 or higher, I win. If you see there, now my order size is $10. My payout is currently $17. And at this purchase deadline, at that green dot, as long as the trade stays above my entry, I would win 70% of my order size. Okay, so this is just skyrocketing. Look at that. My entry was 465. Boom, my payout was $17. I just made a 70% return on my investment in 1 minute time. Okay, that's the beautiful thing about high frequency Forex. Now, again, on the flip side, if I would have placed it at 466 and the trade would have closed at 465, I would have lost. Or if that would have been a call, if I would have been a put, if I would have been a sell, and it went in the opposite direction, I would have lost. But it ended up closing in my favor. Okay. Now, what type of strategy do we do here with Matthew Thayer? That strategy is called the cash trap. Okay. Now, I've tried to mimic this as best as possible to what it is that I've seen from his trading view. So I'm gonna just do the best I can. Let me eliminate all those letters. Close that. Let's see. Nope. That's not open. All right. So there we have something very similar. And I do apologize. I believe there was a server update that happened yesterday, and a lot of accounts, including myself, were logged out, and we haven't been able to get back on. Support is resetting individual accounts for us. So hopefully by tomorrow morning, we could have everything up. But when we look at currency pairs, right? Let's just go to the USD, JPY. Let's say, for example, on this candlestick, let's say on this candlestick, we were having an arrow right there telling you to go in for a sell, okay? Now, I will drop the PDF in our, matter of fact, let me drop it in there now so that if you can follow along, you can follow along while I'm going over this information. HD, paste, cash trap strategy. And these are all the explanations of what and how a cash trap strategy works. So, for example, if you see an arrow, it's automatically 3 points. Please understand, when it comes to high frequency Forex, everything is based off of a point system. When you're on the Liberty app, the Simple Scalper, the Web Slinger, the Pickpocket, all of them are based off of point systems, okay? Same thing here with Cash Trap. If you see an arrow like you see here, that is automatically a quote unquote 3 point trade. Okay, it would have probably been better, probably been right here if I'm looking at it with bare eyes. But boom, the arrow is an automatic 3 point trade. Okay, that just means a good trade. Now, what I mean by good trade, if you would have taken this trade just based off of the arrow, out of 100 trades, if you would have just done that, you would have probably gone about 65 to 70% win ratio just alone off of the arrow, okay, off of the 3 points. Now, a 4 point trade is a better trade, and then the best that you could score is a 5 point trade. Now, how do you gain the points? Well, if you look here on your stochastic and your RSI, the two charts down here below, if the stochastic, let me highlight it so you can see a good example, because it didn't happen on that one, but I want you to be able to see it. This one. So ladies and gentlemen, you see right here, I'm gonna go ahead and highlight this, but you see that circle that I just drew on there? I'm gonna do it again over here on the stochastic, but this here is what we're looking for, okay? You see how it was above the red lines on both? Well, we would want the RSI and the stochastic both to be above the red line, breaking the red line and going back into the middle of the red line and the blue line. If both of those were doing that, that would be a half a point each. So this has now become a 3 point trade, a 3.5 point trade, a 4 point trade now. The RSI is half a point, the stochastic is half a point. So this has now become a 4 point trade, okay? That's what it is that we're looking for. On a buy, we will be looking for the same thing, but we will be looking for breaking the blue, okay, and coming back in just like it is down there. And let me draw it over here as well, just as we see right here as well. You see how they're both below the blue, and they started breaking back into in between the blue and the red lines. That's the move that we're looking for a call. If we're looking for a call, we want it to go back in between the red and blue line to give you your half a point confirmation and your half a point confirmation. If we're looking for a sell, we're looking for it to be above the red line on both, breaking the red line and coming back in between the red and blue line, okay? That's what it is. That's one of the things that we're looking for when it comes to the confirmation of that, Now that's a 4-point trade, okay? Now, the fifth and final confirmation would be your currency strength index. Okay, I have an amazing app that I downloaded on Apple. It's $20 one time, but it updates automatically. Okay, here, if you save this, I will also drop this in our IME chat on Telegram. But if you see right up here, we're looking at livecharts.co.uk. Okay, and then we will be clicking right here on the currency strength meter, and then you would get this. Okay, so for example, on the USD JPY trade, if this would have been a trade, right, we would be looking for the yen, because this is a sell. We'd be looking for the second pair to have more strength than the first pair. So this is the USD JPY. So in order to get that point confirmation, we would need the Japanese yen to have more bars than the USD pair. Okay, you see how here, if we're looking at the bars, the USD count has 2 bars, the Japanese yen has 1 bar. We would not be getting the confirmation, a confirmation point for this example. Why is that? Because the Japanese yen is weaker than the US dollar. So for a sell, we would need the second pair, right? USD, JPY. We would need the JPY to have more bars than the first pair, which is USD. So this one doesn't. So this would not receive a point confirmation. But let's look over here. For example, the Euro USD. If we'd be looking for a buy on the Euro USD, if you see here, the Euro has 4 bars, the USD only has 2 bars. The Euro is the first pair, and we're looking for a buy. So that's 4 bars to the 2. This is telling us that the Euro is stronger than the dollar. So yes, we would receive a confirmation for that. We would receive a half-point confirmation for that, okay? Now, another great indicator, and unfortunately, I don't have it on my, oh, I do. It's the estimated moving average. This purple line right down here that I'm hovering over. If this were to be above our entry that's being called, that's another great indication that this is moving in a downward direction, okay? On this trade, it's not. So if we would have taken this trade here on this candlestick, we're looking at a 3-point trade. Granted, these are not breaking the red planes, but they were moving in our direction. If we would have gone in for a sell here, it's a 3-minute trade. So if you see here, it took a total of about 15 minutes for this trade to come back to the entry of this candlestick. So this is at 7, if we would have entered this in the beginning, we would have got in at 717. It's barely breaking that 717 zone again. So for 5, 10, 15 minutes, we could have gone in on a sell for 3 minutes, and this would have been a profitable trade, okay? That's the way that the cash trap works. Is it works in regards to the entry and the expiration time. Now, another great thing, let me get rid of the Cash App typically has 3 Bollinger Bands, but just to show you for an example, something very, very important to also just know that the Bollinger Bands work as pretty much just good resistance zones, okay? 95% of the trade of the current 2 pairs live within the Bollinger Bands. 5% of the time, they are outside. So you can almost guarantee that whenever you see something like this here, it's outside of the Bollinger Band, it's naturally going to kick it back inside the Bollinger Band. So if you ever see the currency pair hanging around the Bollinger Band, right? You saw it there, right? Now let's do it again. If you see here, it's hanging outside of the Bollinger Band. Look at what happened. it bounced back in, right? If you look at right here, like I said, 95% of the time, the currency pair lives within the Bollinger Bands. But if it's ever outside, right, here's a small time frame here as well, right? This small time frame here was outside of the Bollinger Band, and then boom, it bumped back in. But if you just go back and you look at the Bollinger Bands, 95% of the time, the currency pair is living within the Bollinger Band. So if you ever see something like that, you see it getting close to the Bollinger Band, wait for the move, but it's most definitely going to knock it back in to the Bollinger Band. Okay, those plays as like a support and resistance zones when it comes to that. You see here, it broke the Bollinger Band on this one, right? Didn't do it right away, but look it flirted, it rolled it up, it was trending, and then boom, this candlestick right next to it most definitely knocked it back in. Okay, so that's just a good little confirmation, a good indication of what's going on when it comes to the Bollinger Bands, and to help you see how the market is most definitely moving. Okay, man, I wish that the cash trap strategy would actually be up so we can see an actual arrow really pop up. But mine has been down, so has several others. So let me see. I want to not open this one up, but let me unshare my screen so that I can see if there's any questions in the chat that I can answer maybe some of those questions. Up until now, everybody, does anyone have any questions in regards to the cash trap strategy or binary options in general? Please feel free to drop in your questions. I would love to answer those for you. Where do we go to open up a demo account? Great question. So a free demo, you can get started right away, is www.pocketoptions.com. Okay, you can go here. Oh, Pocket Options. This is a good demo account where you can demo trade. Okay, so you can demo trade right away with a $10,000 account on Pocket Options. This is also a broker that you can fund to trade binary options as well. You can actually get started with as little as $50 with Pocket Options to fund your broker. One new subscription that requires to switch over from HFX to, you could actually add on HFX to your current subscription for $49.99 if you wanted to keep the Forex side and add on HFX. That's only $49.99, and you can add that on your shopping cart, or you can go to your personal. Let's say you wanted to switch from FRX to HFX to answer that specifically. You would go down to personal info, okay? And on personal info, you would come down here to the bottom, and you would change your subscription here. So you would have the platinum pack. You would switch it over to HFX, and it would modify on your next cycle. If you were to add on the $49.99, you would then switch over to it would be available within like an hour or two to your current subscription. I'm in FRX. How do I add this? There we go. So you would go to, if you wanted to add it on, you're not going to see it on my shopping cart, unfortunately, because I'm on the elite package. But to add it on, you would go to your shopping cart, here, and you would see HFX at like one of these icons here. You would see the HFX, and you would add on HFX for $49.95. So we have these other, add-ons. It would just be a $49.95 add-on, and that would be available. That would get added onto your subscription. Will you do a training on the candles? So TradingView is a free subscription, and it gives you up to 3 indicators to be able to add on for free. So if you were to do TradingView and want to, the $49.99 is a monthly. If you want to do the TradingView and just run off of 3 indicators, that's free. You don't have to worry about that. You can upgrade over to the Pro, and I believe they give you up to 8 indicators that you can have on your chart at one time. I pay for the for the $49.99 unlimited TradingView, and I can add up unlimited indicators onto my chart. So support and resistance, yep, support and resistance is a great strategy. It most definitely does help. Will you do a training on the candles, which way they're going, ceiling, floor? Okay, so you want me to do a support and resistance training? Gotcha. I can most definitely do that. I also have a video that I can throw in the chat as well that you can save and refer back to. Now, when it comes to the funding of a broker, pocket options is as minimal as $50. There are other great, also follow Matthew Thayer. No, you don't need any add-ons for now. There is the add-on of the Hourglass. The Hourglass add-on is where the cash trap strategy is in, okay? So I do recommend that you get the Hourglass add-on so you can trade the cash trap strategy by itself. But if you're new to binary options, right away, it's not mandatory, right? Because you're gonna just be following Matthew Thayer Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and you'll be able to jump onto his live and he'll do all the signaling, all the calls, all the trading live for you. You just to have your broker, but if you want to learn the skill, learn the trade, and start learning on your own as well, yes, you will be doing an add-on of the Hourglass. Added on to that subscription. His lives are at 8 p.m. Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Yes, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I apologize. I don't know why I assume that everybody's here in Cali. So yeah, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. East Coast time. All right, let me open up my TradingView. Let me open up the blank chart. Man, like clockwork. Okay. Sorry, talking to myself. So I did a support and resistance training a little bit earlier today. The way support and resistance works is you draw the lowest point, highest point, and then the trend, right? So what I like to do is I like to identify which way the trend is going, and I deleted the upward trend, but looking here earlier today, I had the upward trend right here at this candlestick. There was actually news right here that was going on. Sorry, it was right here, pretty close to it. There's news going on, and when it hit this support, this resistance zone up here, I let the person know I was doing the training this morning. I let them know that this is something that is either going to break the zone or going to knock it back down. So if you see what's going on here, this was an upwards trend. Okay, it respected this resistance here and knocked it back down, and it's been flirting within this zone here. Okay, so you draw the two lows, you draw the two highs, and that helps to identify which way the trend is going. Now, another trend that you can identify is when you go to this highest point, you could also see that there's the zone right here, and when you look at that, it broke right at that cross. So that was a huge, huge zone that was respected. Okay, if you guys, let me draw that zone. But if you see it right here, it most definitely respected that zone. Okay, it touched it, knocked it back down right in here, moved it all the way back down. So if we were to look at something important, and what I love about trading views, you can always go backwards. There has to be something significant with that line. Now look at, if we go back, it's played either support or resistance for a very, very long time. Became support. Here was resistance on the other ones. Support, support, resistance, resistance. You see, I'm all the way back to October of 18. See, it played a major factor all throughout the time of this currency pair. Okay, so that's why if you notice here, it most definitely knocked it back down. And if you see, this was the support here. It touched it and respected it again right here. You see that? Boom, and knocked it back up. So support and resistance is great to identify on your day charts to break it down even more, to be able to get your entries. It's also great to do support and resistance on your on a 15-minute chart to see what are the lows, okay, and also what are the highs and what it is to expect. And then if you go to within the last hour, right now it's okay. Let's go back about an hour and a half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here, one right there. And then another low is going to be about right there within the last hour. So if you see, it's flirting in between these zones. So for USD JPY, it's currently on an uptrend, right? If you look at your eyes, if you obviously look with your eyes, right? But without having to use indicators, you can see with your eyes that boom, boom, has been respecting this area here, right? So on the cash trap, if I were to see any buys with the USD JPY, it would most definitely be a trade in my favor. You see that it's on an uptrend. It's in the support and resistance zone. That's on an upward motion in that area on the 1 hour. And honestly, for the last 7 hours of the day. So most definitely any type of calls when it were to come to the USD JPY, even with just the last few minutes that we've been talking. Look at this, since 35. Look at this move. 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes. We could have gone on 4 or 5 minute buys, and we could have gone 5-0. You see this here? This all just happened within the time frame of us mapping this out on the 1 minute candle, right? So that's the type of stuff that you get to start seeing with your eyes as you start getting used to the indicators. And then you don't have to use the indicators anymore because your eyes have been programmed to see the trends, to see the supports, to see the resistance zones, and so forth. That's why I keep on saying when you look with your eyes, right? It's just a habit of being able to start looking at the charts without having to use your indicators. But it's always great to do a quick breakdown to identify, especially if you're going to be trading on your own, okay? If you're going to be trading on your own while you're demo trading, it's great to mark up your charts so you can have a good understanding to increase your probability of having someone in trade. Now, the last thing when it comes to a demo account, if you were to fund a Vita Forex, a Fin Rally, a race option, or an IQ Cent, they do require $500 to get started, but they do also open up demo accounts for you as well, where you can have a demo account with them there, okay? Pocket Options automatically gives you a $10,000 demo account, but those other brokers do give you a demo account once you fund an account, and so forth. So I will drop the support and resistance training video in our chat as well, so that everyone can reference back to that on the long term. But any other questions? Okay. Mr. Morgan, my friend, my brother, I appreciate you. And ladies and gentlemen, if you do have any other questions, feel free to tag me in the chat. I can most definitely answer your questions. But with Cash Trap being down, improvising, and most definitely trying to just use TradingView, Mr. Morgan, once Cash Trap does come up, I can most definitely do another training. I do have the list of Cash Trap trainings that we have for Mr. Brandon Boyd, so I'll be dropping about 13, 14 amazing trainings with Dr. Lee and Brandon Boyd, and it has the subject matters that are disclosed there as well, so that we can also have some additional training on Cash Trap. But I will drop all of that into our chat here once I'm done having dinner. Yes, you can add on for the 49. It'll be available. It'll be available by the end of the night, or when your billing cycle rotates. What we can do is this: is I can send in a request if you do switch over to the HFX tonight. I can put in a request to Mr. Boyd and see if we can get support to help us to change it today. Not too sure what that response would be, but I'll message him first and see if we had a bunch of people who want to change from the Platinum to the HFX, if we can get that done, and then I'll drop that also in the chat as well. Tim, I'll resend it to you, but I think I sent it to you already. Most definitely, I'll send that over to you as well. But okay, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time. Feel free to tag me with any further questions in our chat, and I will talk to you amazing people soon. Have a great rest of your night.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Reyes. Caught so much value with that. We appreciate you. And again, when Cash Trap is back up, we can schedule another training in the near future.
I'm down.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any other further questions, get with us through social media, Telegram, or send out that text message, and we'll see how we can assist you. And again, thank you. Thank you for joining in on the call tonight. And tomorrow, we're back at it with another opportunity call at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we'll see you then. Enjoy your night.